Why would a school district dismantle its large schools and replace it with smaller schools? And how does a community respond to these changes? What if the enrollment at your school was limited to 400 students? Can you imagine choosing a school based on the interests of the student and not based on where they live or how much they're able to pay? This is exactly what has happened in a Colorado community just north of downtown Denver. The current national campaign of urban school reform originated in the 1970s. The social and economic concerns at that time and even today were attributed to underperforming, inefficient schools with high dropout rates and an increasing number of graduates who were unprepared for college or the needs of a national work market. Over the past 3 decades, individual schools, districts, civic leaders, businesses, and politicians have all learned through trial and error how difficult it is to implement meaningful change. Education reform continues to be highly charged, and the proposed solutions have varied from financial incentives to high-stakes punitive regulation. The social and economic complexities and growing international work market seem to outpace sustainable reform in our nation's schools.
The state of education in the United States is strongly influenced by the standards movement, No Child Left Behind. I think there's an urgency in public education around these reforms because of high dropout rates, poor achievement on standardized tests, and a belief that even those, especially in urban centers, who graduate aren't prepared for the work world and for civic life.
Are we going to massively change the paradigm for how high school education looks, or are we just going to be able to make a couple improvements here or there? Are we going to be able to move from 20% of kids going to college to 25%? Are we going to be able to move from a 55% dropout rate to a 50% dropout rate? Or are we going to say, fundamentally, the whole system of high school has to look radically different?
When I first started as the superintendent and I would walk into a school, I would see students who were very disengaged. I would see teachers who were very caring, very committed to the work, and simply not knowing what they needed to do to engage every single child in the learning. Today, I'm so proud to walk into the schools and see kids who are bought into their own learning, kids who are really committed to the school designs in which they've selected, and teachers who can't imagine themselves being anywhere but there, and who are amazingly committed to the individual results of every child in their classroom.
By the 1990s, Mapleton public schools also started to experience flat and falling test scores and graduation rates. Not unlike schools across the country, Mapleton graduated fewer than half of the students that began attending as freshmen.
I think the district needed to reinvent itself for many reasons. First of all, we had a senior class that was graduating fewer than half of what started. Like in our 9th grade, we'd start off with 425 and we were graduating under 200 kids. We knew that had to change. Also, our CSAP scores were not anywhere near what we wanted to be.
In 2001, Mapleton Public Schools began to research the needs, interests, and perceptions of their community. They commissioned a survey for voters and parents across the district. The study showed that the community was not satisfied with their educational options, and they were open to expanding and enhancing their community schools with smaller learning environments and a variety of school choices for students. Mapleton then organized groups of teachers, staff, parents, business leaders, and community members to develop their strategic plan.
One of the most critical milestones for the reform effort it was involved with the district's decision to pursue a new strategic plan. We recognized that where we were going as a district wasn't taking us where we wanted to be in terms of results for the kids.
A bold commitment came from the mission statement that Mapleton developed: to guarantee that each student achieves his or her dreams and contributes enthusiastically to their community and world. All of this through an educational system characterized by an unyielding commitment to academic excellence, an enticing menu of learning opportunities that allows students to pursue their interests and gifts, a commitment that no obstacle shall impede a student's success, an environment of integrity, encouragement, and caring, a comprehensive community working collectively to ensure the success of each child. They also began studying other successful schools and programs across the country. Teams were sent to study and understand different types of small school options. After visiting several schools, they chose a handful of educational designs to bring to Mapleton. They created 6 new high school choices and completed the first phases of the district reinvention.
For centuries, schools have been educating kids, and we've generally been doing it the same way, using a lot of the same methods. In Mapleton, we're questioning. We're asking lots and lots of questions. This will be successful. It has to be successful. And the main reason that it will be successful is the courage and will and tenacity, really, of all of the people that are involved in this. All of our partners, all of our staff, administrators, students, families. You know, there's a desire to succeed, and when you have that kind of critical mass, how can you not?
We now have 17 school options for Mapleton students. Some of our learning environments include multi-age classrooms. Some offer more traditional grade-level instruction, and several of our schools offer students the opportunity to be with one teacher over multiple grade levels. We have schools that give your student the opportunity to learn in an environment that is more family-like and traditional.
Students used to go through school without anyone ever saying their name in an entire day. So to have every single one of their teachers greet them by name, to know their family, to know their strengths and where they want to improve, to know what they're passionate about, I think that just creates such a feeling of worth in them and a sense of confidence that then creates some motivation too. I get so much more out of it than I ever give. Teaching has to be one of the most fulfilling careers.
One of the words that pops into my head is tenacity and staying the course. Even with all the changes and challenges they faced in the last few years, they've never lost sight of the end in mind, ever. And so that's different than a lot of places.
We're each following our goal that we want to succeed. And it doesn't matter who they are, or what they are, where they came from. It's that when they're in our school, they know that they belong there.
So what are the signs showing that Mapleton is on the right path? The end of the 2007 school year pointed to a variety of interesting and profoundly positive indicators of success.
The district had an amazing accomplishment in terms of having 100% of our seniors apply to college, and almost 85% of them were accepted to a college of their choice. The mission is being accomplished in the district because of our students really having the skills to know what it takes to apply to college, and then having the confidence to take that next step to college.
The class of 2008 has the highest ACT results of any class in the past 6 years. One new school recently reported an amazing 93% of the students in 3rd grade who were proficient or advanced in reading. A number of schools are reporting 100% of their parents attending parent-teacher conferences.
We certainly know that for a long time public education worked for kids. And we know that in Mapleton in the last decade or so that it hasn't worked for kids, and that only by making a significant change would we find something better in that. And so it's courageous and it's hard, mostly courageous because it is so ingrained in our society as to what public education looks like.
To really fulfill that great American promise of equality, it has to not just be that everyone is able to do it, but that everyone actually has the preparation to do it. And so we see our mission as that big, and we see the weight of history that we carry is that big, and to not succeed is not an option.
To make this work, we really need to give it time, and we need to be patient and persistent with our practices. So making sure that what we've committed to is what we do. Making sure that the amazing opportunity we have is embraced by all the people who are involved in it. So the next step is not to change path. The next step is to stay firm on the path in which we're developing, and to assure that it's implemented deeply and implemented well.
50 years from now, how will we view this era of education? There are many local and national questions still to be asked and answered. For a school district just north of downtown Denver, this is their answer. Mapleton's reinvention is ensuring that each of their students has access to an excellent education, that each student has the opportunity to pursue their interests and gifts, and that each and every one of our students can achieve and realize their dreams.